Welcome, everyone. I'm Kimberly Beauchemin, and this is the Intentionally Intuitive Podcast. Happy New Year! We are officially entering 2022. So before we dive into the energies for 2022, for the collective and for each life path number, this is just a reminder that this is a great time for you to order your own personal year ahead numerology forecast. I will leave the link in the description box below if that's something that you're interested in, but it's a great resource to see what the upcoming energies may hold for you. So as we wave goodbye to the universal 5 energy that had us shifting gears and changing directions so much that our worlds were often spinning all over the place, we now step into the more nurturing, domestic, and community-centered energy of the 6. 2022 is a 6 universal energy. So this cycle, this energy, is going to ask us to take into consideration the greater community and the good of all as we make our decisions and choose our actions. This is not an energy solely focused on self. The energy of 2020 sort of broke the foundations and forced us to be more isolated and reflective. The energies of 2021 were more about exploration and authenticity while building our personal worlds in a way that sort of is much more open-minded and adaptable to change. Now, 2022 is asking us to broaden our scope as we rebuild the world we want to experience while taking the collective into consideration. So what does this new world, that we're emerging into need that benefits more than just ourselves, but rather is inclusive of the needs of Mother Earth and all of her inhabitants? This is a cycle where divisiveness will no longer work. People are tired of the separation, and the energy is incredibly supportive for people to wake up and fully choose to build the bridges necessary to begin reuniting with friends, family, community, and the greater world at large. Regardless of how many people there are that still choose to cling to the old ways and who attempt to keep burning down those bridges, more and more people are going to sort of feel the need or the compulsion or the urge to move into a higher octave now and release the burdens of separation and chaos. There will always be polarities. We live in a world and a universe of polarities. However, for evolution to occur, we cannot remain in one extreme very long. The pendulum will always swing. And so on a more personal level, collectively, we will be seeing the influences of the 6 with an emphasis on home, life, relationships, and creativity. So again, we'll see that collectively, but also individually. So this can be a cycle when many changes take place within your home environment. Perhaps you change residence. Maybe people move in or out of your home at this time. You may do some remodeling. You may see changes within your physical home, your body. This can be a time when you undergo some major physical transformations, body, mind, and spirit. Creativity, you may see new inspirations come in this year that allow you to express yourself like never before and that ignite the fire within, bringing a renewed sense of balance, joy, and excitement into the world and the world around you. So what inspires you? Do more of that. Allow that flame to ignite and carry you places and inner depths that you never imagined yourself going to. Embrace your inner child and allow them to lead you uninhibited towards the unbridled joy. This is a year to absolutely say yes to what makes you happy without shame, without feeling the need to apologize for that happiness, even if others don't understand or even if they're shocked by your choices. Happiness and inspiration are contagious, so don't restrict how much of it you create for yourself, allow, within your life, and how much of that you share. This is an energy where we can see more people needing our help, our services, and our support at this time. You may see people coming out of the woodwork needing you at this time. Friends, family, loved ones, community members, clients, and so on. If we're capable of offering that support, then we will benefit from that circulation of energy. However, if we are not in the space physically, mentally, or spiritually to be able to meet those needs, then we must know when to set healthy boundaries and say no. This is very important because under the sixth energy, it can be very easy to sort of fall into martyrdom, which can lead to resentment, anger, frustration, and we sort of fall into a lower vibration then. This can be an energy where it's like you almost feel the urge to help people sort of to an extreme, if that makes sense. It's like where you're sacrificing yourself for another to be happy, which, that just doesn't work in the long run. That's not sustainable. And so just be mindful of that. Make sure that you're keeping your equilibrium and your balance, and that you are first checking in with self to make sure that your cup is full before you are able to sort of meet those requirements or those needs of others. There's no shame in that. And it's actually recommended so that so it's a more sustainable energy. If we get to the point where we are feeling taken advantage of, we need to understand that there came a point where we should have said no. When we choose to say yes to things that we are not capable of supplying or meeting the requirements or the needs of, then we are self-sabotaging ourselves and sort of sabotaging the other person as well, whether we mean to or not. And so again, it's really, really important to make sure that we are setting those healthy boundaries, saying yes when we're capable of saying yes, saying no when we are not capable of saying yes. So if you see yourself starting to fall into those lower vibrations when it comes to offering or sharing your time, your energy, and your resources with others, please realize your cup is no longer full and it's time to replenish you before you step back into that role. And if somebody doesn't understand your need for self-care, then chances are they were only interested in your endless availability and accommodations. And perhaps it's a connection that's no longer serving you, and it's time for that relationship to expire or to create some distance for the time being while you rejuvenate yourself. So overall, this sixth cycle of 2022 can be incredibly beautiful, loving, rewarding, and a very creative period. This is such lovely, softer, nurturing energy from the last couple of years. But as always, in order to get the most out of this cycle, we must continue to maintain our own peace and harmony, even when that means having those difficult conversations to set those necessary healthy boundaries. So, okay, let's take a look now at the overall upcoming energy for your particular life path number. Life path number 6. So I pulled an animal spirit card for you all for 2022, and you got Owl Spirit. And this is so in line with the energies that I'm seeing coming up for you all for 2022. It's too funny. So Owl Spirit says, you see clearly now. And I'm not going to elaborate too much on that because I'm going to elaborate it when I go into your reading, because holy guacamole, there is a lot of clarity coming in for you all this year. So Owl Spirit says, you see clearly now. So some things that may have been hidden behind the veil, or you were seeing just the illusion of things, you start to see things very, very clearly on all fronts. And it's through that clarity that you're going to be able to make some pretty big decisions in your life that will have major impacts for you throughout your journey. So I broke the year down into 4 quarters. The first and second quarter really are going to be about this clarity. I will say that the general theme for you all this year is going to again be around clarity, communication, making big decisions, and also around money and finances. And I see your finances, your money sort of growing in an exponential way. So very, very good. So first quarter, Again, there's this energy of somewhere where you maybe felt like you were being held back, you were being sabotaged in some way, or you were self-sabotaging. Suddenly everything sort of parts and you get just clear confirmation of what you've been feeling, what you sort of knew to be right. There's no more question about it. And this really propels you forward. It's kind of like you all of a sudden, again, it seems sort of like an aha moment, but you gain this incredible clarity, and you can kind of see where you've been self-sabotaging yourself, or where where you've been sort of inviting in others who have been sabotaging you in some way, whether it was inadvertently or advertently, intentionally or unintentionally. But you gain this sense of clarity that you haven't had before, and it really allows you to see the next steps clearly, like the road that you want to take moving forward, the steps that you want to make, the people that you want to have with you, what you want to build upon. All of that just becomes crystal clear. So if there's anything that's, again, felt like it's been behind the veil, covered in illusions, sort of muddied, the water's been muddied, I feel like this first quarter, the water becomes crystal clear. You're able to see things much, much more clearly and make a decision that you're not going to self-sabotage anymore, and that you're not going to invite in those people who sabotage you in any way. Whether that's through manipulation, overly influential, imposing their ideas or beliefs onto you, whatever the case may be, I just see you kind of really stepping in your power in this way and knowing exactly what you want. It's like you're laser focused at this time. And so again, it's a general reading, so this can be about, relationships or your job or whatever, but whatever it is that has been unclear becomes crystal clear. And what's interesting is we move into, it's like the first quarter, you're looking to the future with this clarity. You know how you want to move forward. That vision, that goal becomes, again, just crystal clear. Then you move into the second quarter and it becomes much more focused on the present. So during this quarter, you're really going to have to focus on the here and now, the changes that you need to make so that, you can kind of clear the path for the way that you want to move. If you need to make big changes in your job, in your relationships, in how you're showing up in purpose, to something about yourself, body, mind, spirit, right? This is going to be about heavily focused on the present, like the changes, the moves you need to make now that will eventually affect your future. But right now it's about being very decisive about what you want, what you need, how you're going to get it. There will be things that need to come to completion now or come to closure to make space for this new path, right? And the things that you want to do. I do see there being some conversations that need to be had. So again, it could be that you have to have sort of those difficult conversations to set those boundaries, which can be challenging for a 6. But I feel like you're fully prepared and capable of doing that now. In the past, maybe you would self-sabotage and not be able to do that because you were the people pleaser or just wanted everything to run smoothly without conflict and everybody to be happy. But I really feel like you're kind of done with that at this stage. And you're like, you know what you need to do, and you're taking the action and making the decision to do that. Chips fall where they may. And so I do see some things coming to completion because of that, because of you standing in your power and setting those boundaries. But as I mentioned in the intro, if it falls away, it needs to fall away, right? It's kind of like if somebody is not okay with your setting those boundaries, then it's kind of like they were just along for the ride anyway, right? They got a little too comfortable with your accommodating their needs and being readily available at their beck and call. So there are going to be those relationships that may fall away at this time because this new you is difficult for them to process. And that's okay. That's their problem, not yours. And so I definitely see you really being much more sort of, again, setting those boundaries, being very decisive in what you want, what you need, communicating that to people, and standing firm behind it, like not wavering, no longer sacrificing yourself for anyone, right? Like there's one thing about compromise, but when it comes to sacrificing, that's a problem. So I definitely see you really focusing during this quarter on what you need and communicating that clearly. And then the third quarter, you've got money on the mind and money is coming in. And so I definitely see a very big, substantial offer coming in for you that has to do with money. This could be other people's resources. This could be, a lottery win, an inheritance, a new job, some kind of promotion. But this is substantial. And whatever this is coming in is going to allow you to feel much more financially secure. And it's very stable energy. It's something that's sort of allowing you to create some kind of stable foundation with your resources, with your money. It could be that you've figured out a way to sort of, without falling into deprivation mode, like found a way to sort of manage your money so that you can start to create that nest egg, but then also have money at your disposal so that you can get what you need, right? Without feeling that sense of like lack or fear of not having enough or whatever the case may be. So money is coming in very, very strongly. I do see some kind of an offer coming in though. It's like, again, coming from the outside. So it could be, like I said, inheritance, lottery, whatever, but it could also be that you get you apply for a promotion, you get that promotion. And so I would say just, figure out how to work with that money, those resources, that material, whatever it is. Because it could also be like someone gives you a house or you win a car or something like that, right? It's something that's going to assist you financially, but you just want to make sure that you're managing whatever that is. It's kind of like when you hear about people who win the lottery and then they go crazy and they spend all of the money and then they're right back where they started. So it's kind of like whatever this is, just make sure that you are being wise with it, right? Like you want to make sure you continue to circulate that energy. You don't want to become a hoarder and you don't want to fall into the fear of losing it or lack or whatever. But that comes back really on you to take control and take the reins and say, how am I managing my resources? How am I managing my money? What is my relationship to money? And all of that. So I see money and resources on your mind heavily this third quarter, but I also see the opportunity for those resources and material gains to be coming in quite substantially. And for you to be able to, if you choose to, create a stable foundation to work from. And then also fourth quarter, I also see money coming in as well, like more financial resources at your disposal. I also see a lot of recognition here. So it could be that, again, you get your promotion or you start maybe working in that promotion and things sort of build from there. I definitely see a correlation between some kind of offer and money, as well as recognition and acknowledgement. And this could be that it's kind of like you take you take a leap of faith, you go into whatever this is, and you just feel the rewards of that internally. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily have to be that it's an external validation. It could be that it's you finally feeling really, really good about whatever it is that you're doing to make this money, right? You don't feel like, it also feels like a relief energy. So if you were sort of short on finances, this can just continue to build on that. But I also see like an opportunity to start something new financially as well. So, but it doesn't seem huge. Like it doesn't seem like this big life-changing new thing. It feels like maybe like you start selling something on the side, like maybe you make jewelry or maybe you are an artist or something like that. And so you start maybe an Etsy account and you start selling that on the side, and that just comes in as kind of like a nice little like buffer income, right? So definitely lots of opportunities this year, I think, for you to really get a boost in your finances, your resources. Just make sure that you're managing that well. I do see the opportunity for recognition, acknowledgement, for you being in the spotlight a little bit more this year, and being recognized for your contributions and how you're putting your energy out into the world. But 100% without a doubt, I see a lot of clarity coming in for you. And, with clarity comes responsibility sometimes. And so it's what you do with that that's going to make the difference. But it's kind of like, also, it's like, once you see things clearly, you can't unsee it. And so it's kind of like, even with career or relationships or what have you, or even how you are functioning, once that becomes very clear, if it goes against your inner knowing or your own authenticity, you can't kind of go against that without it feeling incredibly uncomfortable. And so that's not sustainable. So I do feel like with this clarity is going to come a lot of changes for you, but good changes, ones that need to occur. And especially in the latter part of the year, I definitely see big boost to your resources. In a big way, and acknowledgement as well. So I hope this was helpful. Thank you all so much for listening. If you would like a personalized reading to see how the energies will be potentially affecting you this year, highly recommend the Year Ahead Forecast, the Numerology Year Ahead Forecast. You can get that on my website. I'll leave the link below, and you can also book some time with me if you'd like another reading. So thank you all so much for listening. Take care, everyone. Bye for now.